Hello, crafty friends. Happy Saturday. I'm Beth Roy, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and welcome to my craft room this morning. So if you pop in, say good morning. If you're new to watching my channel or my videos, please say hi and let us know where you're watching from. Just going to adjust a few things here. Oops, sorry. Trying to adjust my light. Okay. Good morning, Joan. So it feels so good to be back with you guys live. I've missed you for the last couple of weeks. We were on the road, a little family trip out to where my son lives. So that was a fun adventure, and I'm happy to be back and in my craft room. Let's see. So while I was gone, I left you guys with 2 tutorials. I hope you enjoyed those. One of them was what I call the faux stained glass technique. And I really love making those cards. I came across a card I had made many years ago, and I'm going to show that to you. I know I showed it in the tutorial, but today I want to focus on making a guy card. And I'm going to show you some samples and some ways to just kind of freehand and use your supplies and have some fun with it. Hi, Linda. Good morning. Thank you so much. Yes, Joan, I did come to Washington. I tried tagging you in a post. I didn't know exactly what our schedule was going to be. But I had no way to get a hold of you. I was going to try to meet you. So next time I am out that way, we'll have to meet. But yes, we took a little road trip with my son. He flew in and we did a road trip and saw some of my bucket list sites, and took him back to where he lives in Washington, and then we drove home. So it was a very long vacation in the car, but very worth it. So I didn't get to see all the beautiful things I wanted to see in Washington because by the time we got there, I was exhausted. So I am definitely have a new bucket list for the next time I'm out there. But I wanted to show you guys. So I always talk about getting inspiration, right? And my son, now my picture didn't print exactly how I wanted it to, but my son has all these cool shirts with like scenes on them. And you can see it's a worn shirt. It gets washed a lot. But I wanted to copy this design. So I just thought this was really cool, and I just felt inspired by it. So I happened to be doing laundry right before we left, and I thought, oh, I wish I'd had time to do that card because I loved it. So I wanted to show you 2 cards that I did, kind of replicating the scene that I saw on the shirt. One of them I didn't emboss. And you can see it's just coloring. It might not be as vibrant, but it's beautiful colors. And I'll show you how I finished the inside. And then I did this one, and I chose a little bit different colors. And I chose some different blues, but I embossed, clear embossed this whole layer to make it have that shiny, glassy look. I am kind of low on embossing powder. I I'm going to leave it up to you guys if we do emboss today, but I want to get going on the stamping. So that I have time to do that if you want. But I also wanted to say, I know this is a guide card, but you could use Wink of Stella to kind of give it that shiny look. I'm fine with this look where it's not shiny. My original card, let me pull that one out. My original card, I didn't use clear embossing powder on. I probably didn't own it. This is one of my first cards after I was a demonstrator. And this is an old set. It was a die cut and I glued it down and then traced around it to make it look like stained glass. And then I made this, and this was all done with Stampin' Write markers. So I've been collecting markers since I started stamping and buying Stampin' Up, which was, I don't know, 18 years ago or something. So I have a lot of Stampin' Write markers in older colors. And I did this design. All I did was trace a circle and draw lines with a ruler. And then I colored it in. So this, I used a Sharpie because I was using Stampin' Write markers. But I'm going to show you how to use a Stampin' Write marker to make your lines, because I'm going to use blend. So this was my inspiration. I found this card and I thought, oh my gosh, I haven't done one of these in years and I really love the look. Oh, thanks, Joan. So here's one choice. Obviously, I love the bear stamp. Unfortunately, on our trip, we didn't see any bears. I mean, I'm glad it was safe, but I really wanted to see a bear in the wild, like far away. But we saw lots of other animals. And we had a good time. But I love this bear stamp. And then I decided to make one with the motorcycle and use some, very known colors. And I did emboss this one. And I actually mounted this to a black piece and then cut it way down so that you can't really see the cardstock, but it just helps it stick down a little bit better. So I did that one, and I haven't finished the inside of this. And I wanted to give you some more ideas. You might have a lot of stamps just kind of hanging out that you don't use a lot. This is Gone Fishing. You'll notice not a lot of my cards have a greeting on the front because you can put it on the inside. So I used this one, and I tried to just use a fun color scheme. So this is the inside. This one I finished. And I just put a little design on the inside to mimic the front, and then I stamped my greeting. So I just feel like this is like a piece of art. So I didn't want to really cover it up. Now this one, I stamped the greeting right in with it. And then it's part of the design. So again, on the tutorial, I did some turtles. This was the tutorial that I had on my YouTube. So those were my two original, and then I used this one too, and this is one of my favorites. I just really like how it turned out. So today we're going to do a guide card with this technique, and I'm here live to answer any questions that you have. So our first choice is, which card do you want to make? And I'm going to show you. In my original tutorial, I just started drawing with a black marker. I am comfortable with whatever design comes out. I'm comfortable and open with it. And you can use a ruler and make it very geometric, or you can just freehand it. And I'm pretty comfortable with that. But I wanted to show you a way that you could draw in your design and then trace over it to kind of give you a little more confidence to go ahead and try it, jump in. So we can do the bear card. I have Early Espresso for the base. We can do a motorcycle card, and we can change the colors. I am definitely open to that, but the base is going to still be basic gray. This one will still be Early Espresso, or we can do a fishing scene and do Night of Navy. So those are my 3 choices for the base, and we can change it up however you want. But which stamps would you like to use? Thank you, Joan. So I have Legendary Ride that has the motorcycle. And I think you are legendary. I just like that. You can stamp the inside birthday, or it could be an encouragement card. Okay. I have the Wildlife Wonder, which is the bear. I love that stamp. And then I grabbed out Gone Fishing because I made a fishing card. So there's lots of retired sets you could pair with this to make a little bit different scene. And I encourage you to use your stamps as a guide. What are your favorites? I think I'm doing this as a guide card, but I wouldn't mind getting this card. I like it. I like nature and all the things we find outside. Even though I was very leery of finding a rattlesnake the whole time we were out west. But that's what we're given, I guess. So we were just careful. We obeyed the rules, and we didn't encounter anything too dangerous. So, but I just like those things. So I think they can be for anyone really, but I guess they're technically fall into the masculine category. So Joan likes the motorcycle. And I did these a little different. And I will say, you might notice these white specks. My embossing powder is older and it's almost gone. So I feel like I'm getting down to maybe some particles that have made their way either into my embossing powder, or they're just maybe a little bit bigger when they've ground or made the powder, that I have some pieces that don't melt, some white specks. I don't know what they are. They add a little bit of texture and element to the piece, but I have what I have, and that's what's left. So if you want me to do the embossing, that's fine if you want to see that live. If not, I want to give you this option because you might not have embossing powder or all the things to do that. And I want you to feel comfortable just leaving it as is, because I still think it's such a beautiful way to design a background for your card. Oh, good morning, Deb. I'm sorry. I have no idea why it's so hard to find my lives. You should be able to just come to my page, and when you scroll down, the video should just be there playing. I think it plays in the event as well, but I don't see comments. So if you're watching over there, I don't think you can comment on the video. So, good morning, Tracy. Hey, no worries. I was actually a little bit late myself this morning. Just trying to get myself back into the groove. Yes, Joan, we came through that area on the eastern side, but we were also in Montana and Wyoming, and okay, Deb. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I make it so that it posts right to my main page, so that when there's a replay, it's in my video list and easier to find. So that's why I try to just come to my page in the morning. The event's just on my calendar, so you can kind of see what I'm planning ahead for the live, so you can make sure that if there's something you want to see, you have your alarm set. So sorry that that's been so difficult. Okay, ladies, we are voting on which card to make, and I'm going to get stamping. So we're either going to do the bear card or the motorcycle. I do have this one. It's not quite my favorite. I like it, but it's not quite how I envisioned in my head. So every once in a while that happens, right? Things just don't always come out how you want. So we're going to make a guy card. Linda, you said you struggle with making masculine cards. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if I struggle with it, but I definitely feel like I use the same themes over and over and over. And I always make landscapes or something outdoorsy, and I've kept a lot of stamps. So we also have a deer stamp that would work if you don't have the bear. We do have the Grassy Grove that has a deer in it. Or if you have some retired sets, we have lots of guy sets, a car, things that are retired. I try to keep some of it solid, but you don't have to. It can be colored, and you can even put lines through it if it's a coloring stamp, and maybe, you know, make it look like it's broken pieces of glass. That's the idea. So yeah, Tracy suggested a motorcycle with a mountain. So I drew these mountains in. I'm going to show you how I hand drew my background. So that if you're wanting to, you see something and you're inspired by it, like I did my son's shirt. So for those of you that came in a little late, my inspiration was this, and my picture didn't quite print how I wanted it to, but it was a bear, and it has this scene on it with some mountains, orange and blue, you know, my favorite color combo. And how I translated that into a card. So sometimes you're inspired by things, and that's my starting point. So don't be afraid to look around, take a stroll through the guys' t-shirt section. I guarantee my son owns lots of t-shirts that have scenes that just make me think, ooh, I wish I could make my card look like that. But I just take inspiration from whatever is around you and use that. And that's where these two cards came from. And then I just wanted to have some more guy options. So the motorcycle with this background could work, very much so. When we were on our road trip, we met lots of people on motorcycles doing cross-country trips. It was kind of interesting because I'm not sure I could handle it. But so, you know, you could put whatever in the background. So Deb votes for bear. Joan, did you vote for motorcycle? Because I want to get stamping. I do. I have today we get to go to a baby shower, which is exciting. I've had a lot of baby showers lately. So I think we might have 2 votes for motorcycle. Tracy, are you voting motorcycle? The fishing one's neat. I wish I had another fish to go the other direction, but I realized once I started stamping that it doesn't flip upside down. There's only one. So if you have, I do have retired sets with other fish, but I think that's a good guy card too. Okay, so I have 2 votes for motorcycle, and we can change the background. This one I just did like it's stripes. Maybe you don't feel super artsy, and so it's okay to just do stripes. It's okay to just even use a ruler if you feel like you just don't like the whimsy or abstract look of the hand drawn. I personally like it. I like to add little swirls and things, and you could do lines and really break it up and add lots of color, but I'm going to try to keep it kind of simple today. So we can do the motorcycle. One thing, I did stamp this in Memento. I used blends to color in my design. One of the reasons I used blends is because our colors come with a light and a dark. The only combos that don't have light and dark of the same color are the natural tone blends, which you certainly could use those as well. I used those on my bear. And the bronze and ivory combo. So this just gives me a color range. I used, on this one, I used pumpkin pie, light and dark, to give some variation here. I didn't really do a lot of blending. And then I used light basic black and dark smoky slate. So we could do that. You could also make a mountain scene and still use whatever colors you want. You don't have to make it look authentic to what you find in nature. It can just be fun colors that you want to put together. So I did use Memento to stamp my greeting and my motorcycle, and I used the basic black marker to do my lines. Since I'm using blends, those products work together. For this one, I used Early Espresso, and I used my Early Espresso marker. It's dying. I need a new one, but it worked okay for 2 cards. So you guys want to mix and match? You want to do the motorcycle and draw in a scene on the back? So I have my regular card base. We could actually use any of these colors for the base. Those are just the ones that I had for my samples. Thank you for the love. It is our standard card base. So it's 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And we can kind of use this as a starting point. I'm guessing if it's a motorcycle, you might not want brown. So I'm going to take that one out. I have Night of Navy and Basic Gray here. And we have a piece for the front. And I've left mine so that there's more of a border from my base. I just grabbed out another one. So just so you guys know, I keep my standard layers pre-cut, so I can just grab them. And it makes it easy when you're doing cards. That way you have something for the inside as well. So this is 3 3/4 by 5 inches for my layer. You can do it bigger. Let me find my bear card. This one I did 5 1/4 by 4. And then this one is the 3 3/4 by 5. So you can see this just gives a little bit bigger layer around. And I like that. So let me move some things here and we'll get busy. So what do you guys think? If we do a motorcycle and we draw in, I'm guessing we want to do it landscape. We do have a small motorcycle. I'm going to tuck this in the back. So we have 2 different size motorcycles here. We have this little one and we have this big one. So on my original card, I used the bigger one. And I did it, grab it back out here. I did it landscape. So you could make it a portrait. This doesn't quite fit, but it does. It would just be, there wouldn't be any extra room, or you could use the smaller one. Yeah, so we're going to draw a mountain in the back. We're going to completely change it up and make our own card. That's the point of our coffee and card. We want to get involved. We want to see this process and how it works. So we got to decide which motorcycle to use. Do you want to use the smaller one and make it, you know, I'll draw in the mountains, and I'm going to show you, let me grab my dies. I'm going to show you how I traced my circle so that it was perfect. Use your dies. Use what you have. Small motorcycle, Tracy votes. And we don't have to put words on it, okay? It's okay to leave greetings off. Now, if you leave this matte and you don't add embossing powder over it, you could layer up die cuts, maybe emboss a greeting here on a circle or a little strip or something and add it into your design. If you do emboss it with the clear embossing powder, this is very slick. So you would have to use tear and tape to really get anything to stick to it well. And I just like to leave it as is if I emboss it. So that's my 2 cents on that. So we'll do a motorcycle, and I have a pencil here, okay? And we will draw in our design before we use the marker. And I also wanted to tell you guys, I use these high polymer erasers that you can get them at Walmart or any store that sells pencils and drawing supplies and things like that. And I like to use this because it doesn't take the color off your cardstock. So if I were drawing this on, say, a basic gray or not basic gray, smoky slate or a pool party or something lighter, you don't have to use white. I'm using basic white, but if you are drawing on a colored cardstock, this will erase your pencil lines without ruining your cardstock. Yes, I love these erasers. I use them a ton, and I actually use them even on this because after I drew this one, I had some lines where I kind of changed how I wanted it to go, and then you can erase it. Now, I will tell you, if you color with blends and then you try to erase, it's there. It's permanent. It doesn't erase. So make sure you do all that once you draw your lines in. Make sure you do all that before you start coloring. I'm a mess here. Okay, so we're going to go with the small motorcycle. Let's do it a little bit different. You guys want to do it portrait, just so we can have a little bit different card? What do you guys think? I need to find a block here that fits the motorcycle. Okay, portrait, we shall do it. Okay, so, and there's even there's this fun stamp in here. You can stamp whatever you want and then draw around it. So if you like something, maybe you have some scenery stamps that you want to use, have some fun with those. We do have a few scenery stamps. We have the scenic stamps, and then we have the grassy grove that has some scene parts in there if you wanted something in the background. Good morning, Dad. Thanks for joining us. I'm just going to stamp this and then draw in the ground and the mountain. Okay, so you can have some fun with it. And draw on whatever you want. So we got to decide on colors. Do we want to do the orange and black combo, or do you guys want to do, now on these mountains I used Calypso Coral and Pumpkin Pie, and then my ground was this one I used Copper Clay and Cajun Craze. And on this one, I just used Cajun Craze with some dark Calypso Coral over top. So we can have a colorful mountain, or we can just do some fun colors that we want to use. What do you guys think? I'm going to do the motorcycle in black, and I'm going to take this off. I'm going to change this up a little bit. I'm going to get out my stamp positioner tool because I want to stamp my motorcycle a few times. So get out whatever you have. This is what I am going to use. The bright colors, I do too. I know mountains aren't orange, but I don't really care. It's all about what you want it to look like. So, and we also need to decide if we want it to say anything and where we might want that saying to be. So I'm going to pull this down a little bit. And instead of the brown, like I used with the bear, I'm just going to use the black, Tuxedo Black Memento ink. Ooh, blues, purples, and grays for the mountains. We definitely could do that. What do you guys think? Somebody liked it. So start throwing some color combos out there. Whatever we have in blends is what we will use. And I am going to use black on the motorcycle. You really could use just about any classic ink color you want. I have found some of them do react a little bit with the classic ink. And I believe my theory is it's the red dye because that's the color that pulls out. So I did some coloring with some pecan pie ink. And I noticed when my color lifter touched it, it had a little red dot. It wasn't too noticeable. It's not too bad. But I do know Night of Navy can pull that too. So, ooh, that actually stamped really well. But I want it to be really dark. Purples and grays. Okay, so we have... So I did, just for a reference, and I got this from the picture, the darker colors were up front, and then it went lighter. And I translated that picture into the colors I thought worked from Stampin' Up. So if we were to do purples, or blues, I don't know. Do you want to mix and match purples and blues? Okay, I'm just grabbing colors here. I grabbed Night of Navy. Now I will say the Misty Moonlight, the light and the dark is a little bit different, but remember we don't have to blend. I grabbed those two colors, Night of Navy, Misty Moonlight, and let's see, this is Blackberry Bliss and Fresh Freesia. So do you want to do blue and get lighter, or do a row of blue and a row of dark purple and then light purple, or a row of dark purple, dark blue, and light blue? And for light blue, I can grab Balmy Blue. We can still make the sky yellow. Do you still want the sky yellow from the sun? Now this one I used Daffodil Delight, and I alternated between light and dark. This one I just did one color across the board, and this is actually light pumpkin pie with dark Daffodil Delight on top. So don't be afraid to mix your colors and match. So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts. So we're going to use this for inspiration. And we're going to draw in what we need. The other thing is, do we want words? So this one had words. You are legendary. We can stamp that again. I could stamp right on it's your birthday. And then we can draw our design around it. So let me know your thoughts. I'll take this one off. Anyone have an opinion on that? Right on, it's your birthday. Now you could put this on the inside. You could put right on, it's your birthday on the inside, like I did with this one. So I did a little design on the inside and I put my greeting in here. So if you don't want your greeting on the front, that is okay. Or you can stamp it and color over top of it. So Deb says blue in the front, purple in the back, and yellow sun. Okay. Oh, please be careful, Joan. Thank you for staying tuned in. No worries. Just be safe. So right now, let's vote. Do we want this on the front or on the inside? Let me see if You Are Legendary fits. This does. So you could put You Are Legendary right here, and we can make the sun go through it or around it. And then we could do right on, it's your birthday on the inside. You could even do You Are Legendary on the inside. So Deb votes no words on the front. Tracy votes right on the inside. So no words on the front. I'm okay with that. Like I said, sometimes it's hard to really be okay with that because we see so many cards. They're beautiful, they're layered, and they always have a greeting on the front. But I'm trying to get really comfortable with leaving that off because I think sometimes our cards, especially when we do a design like this, they become like an art piece, and I don't want words on the front. So I'm trying to normalize it. It's okay. It's okay not to have words there. So everybody good? Give me some thumbs up or hearts. And I'm going to put this in here. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that greeting. This will be my inside piece. And I try to always look to make sure that it's actually straight, cut on the red rubber before. I'm just going to go with it. If it's a little crooked, it's a little crooked. And I am using that stamp positioning tool. I just feel like I like to stamp a couple times with the Memento ink. So this gives me the ability to do that. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. Okay. Now we are going to draw a little design on the inside as well. So now we're just going to freehand it. We're just going to go with it and have some fun. Don't be nervous. If you are not comfortable with just going straight in with your marker, use a pencil. And normally I have my pencil a little sharper, but that's okay. So on the bear, I used Early Espresso, and on my fishing card, I used Night of Navy to do my lines. So you can change it up. You don't have to use the black. I'm just using it since that's the color I stamped my motorcycle in. Now we're going to just kind of draw in some ground. Like I said, it can be wavy lines, it can be straight lines. I just wanted to look kind of interesting. I'm just freehanding it. It doesn't have to be perfect. So you can see I just drew it in. If I hate it, it's in pencil. I can erase it. Now I want to draw in some mountains, and I'm going to make some, I'm just making some lines. And remember, it's going to show through the tires. So I'm just kind of overlapping them a little. And then just add in some lines to break it up a little bit. So I'm just freehanding it. Whatever you like. Maybe you don't like exactly how I did it. Maybe you want it coming from here. You can erase it and do it however you want. Okay. And then let's see. I need some things peeking out here. So I'm going to come like this. And they're not perfect. I am definitely not perfect at drawing these things. Oop, wrong direction. That's okay. Sketch it, get it how you want it. And then maybe, I'm trying to think where I want, so these in the front will be dark blue and this will be dark purple. And then I need some areas of light too. So I'm trying to make 3 layers so that I can have 3 color changes, and maybe I drew them too big. I don't know. We're going to go with it. There's going to be a dark one right here. I don't really like that. So make it however. And then I'm going to make some light ones, and we have to put a sun in. I think I'm going to put my sun off to the side instead of right in the middle. What do you think? Go big or go home. Exactly, Tracy. We have to, don't we? I feel like I need a little dark peak right here, though. Maybe my sun should go right here. What do you think? I feel like I need a few more. This might be a light colored one. Let's see. How big do we want to make it? So that one's going to be light purple. And I think the sun might be over here. So I've got blue, and it's hard to see now that I've drawn it in, but this is going to be dark blue right here in the front. I've got dark purple. This one will be dark purple. This one will be dark purple. And then this one right here will be light. And I think... let's see. Let's have one coming down. No, I don't like it. Maybe adjust this one a little bit. So I'm going to have this one come down here. And then I'm going to put my sun. It's not quite off to the side. The way I drew my design in, it just didn't work, did it? Sometimes I draw my circle in and then draw around it. And so if you really want your sun to be someplace and then you feel like it's not going where you want it to go, that's how to get it there. I'm going to draw it like it's peeking out right here to the side. Not necessarily in this valley, but just over here. And I'm tracing my circle die. So this is a circle die from the Stylish Shapes. And I'm just putting it where I want it to go. And I'm tracing around it. So you could trace the inside circle or the outside. And that just helps me kind of get the shape. You can freehand it. Or you can trace all of this with dies. We do have them, if you have Mountain Air. I found that when I traced that die, it was a little more rounded than I wanted, but you could do whatever. Now, I just freehand in some lines for rays of the sun. You don't have to do that. You could color the sky. You could make it squiggly and make the sky. You could color the sun and then make the sky blue. So there's my design. It's all done in pencil. It might be kind of hard to see because of how light the pencil is. But now I'm just going to use my Stampin' Write marker and start going over the lines. Oh, let me draw something in for this one too real quick so I can... So on the inside of this one, I just drew in the ground. Of course, I had water on the front, so I just drew in a funky freestyle ground and some water. But on this one, we could draw in, just drawing in some ground here. And maybe a mountain. I think it's too tall. Erase. So maybe a mountain on the bottom. I like that mountain way better than I did I did on my front. It's okay. We're going with it. Okay, so now all I have to do is trace it. Hopefully my black marker doesn't give out on me here. I'm using the fine tip end. You could use the other end. And I'm not worried about it being perfect. Remember, if I happen to not go over that pencil line exactly, it's okay. If I get my line a little bit wider, just color it in. Stained glass is not perfect, so this card really gives you some freedom to just have some fun with it. Now, I would have been, okay, now maybe not with my mountain part, but I am okay pretty much just freehanding with the marker. It doesn't bother me if I end up with a line not exactly where I wanted it. I just fix it however, and you usually forget about it by the time you get to coloring in. Okay, so while I'm tracing this, I need you guys to decide which blue we're using. And let me pull out my color charts here. So here's the blends and how they color. So I've picked Fresh Freesia for my background, and we don't have to use light and dark. We can just use either or. I have Blackberry Bliss, And I need to know, do we want Night of Navy or Misty Moonlight? So Misty Moonlight, the light color isn't, might not be quite the blue we're looking for, but the dark. This is the light. The light might work. And then there's Night of Navy. So while I'm tracing this, you guys start commenting what you think. I don't like that line there, so. Change it a little bit. You notice sometimes I'm adding in different lines just so you can see. Maybe I drew a line in and then as I'm tracing over it, I don't love it. So I'm just adding in my own. Let's see, I think. Yeah, so Tracy suggested balmy blue on the front. I'm not actually going to do any blending. I'm just choosing colors based on the light or the dark. You certainly can blend. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so I vamped up some of my lines that I didn't quite like. That's okay. I need to make that a little thicker so those meet. So you brown at the bottom, excuse me, and blue. So you don't have to use blue. My bear one was originally by the water. So that's up to you. You certainly could add some blue. Now, if you're worried about tracing this circle, you could get your die back out and trace it. I'm going to freehand it and not worry about it. Like I said, if you're going for a stained glass look, they are not perfect. Oops. Even I make mistakes. Just fill it in and keep going. I like kind of the rustic freehand look of this. You can make some really abstract designs. You could get out all kinds of dies and trace them and just have fun with it. Oops. Now I'm going to trace this one for the inside. Okay. Good enough. So I'm going to take my eraser and just go over top of this to remove any pencil lines. Remember, blends, now the darker blends might, but they don't cover your pencil lines and they become permanent. So I'm just going to erase because some of these I really changed. I didn't like it once I started getting it darker. Okay, so, oops, make sure you get all your eraser off. Okay, so we have picked, I'll get these out of the way, Night of Navy, and then these. I'm going to grab a scrap piece out here so I can do just a tad of swatching. So I have dark Night of Navy. Okay. Then I would have, we could do dark Blackberry Bliss. And then, let's see. Let's see what dark Fresh Freesia looks like. So that would be our mountains. Okay. Behind our bike. Or we could do, this is light Night of Navy. And you could do any combo of these. This is light Blackberry Bliss. And then you could use either the dark Fresh Freesia or even the light. Looks more like a pinky color. So, what do you think? This is all just using all the darks. This is using all the lights. And obviously you could combine any number of those things. And for the sun, I have Daffodil Delight out here. So you could use just one color on that, or you can alternate it. So on this one, I used one. On this one, I alternated it. So that's the difference. Anyone have some thoughts? So, and don't forget, you can leave white space. Okay. You don't have to color everything in. So what do you think? We haven't chose the ground colors yet. Joan has suggested brown and blue. And remember, we're going to color this mountain, and we'll probably just color it a dark and a dark. You could always draw in a third if you wanted all three colors on the inside. Tracy votes darks, and that's with our yellow. So it's almost like the sun setting or sunrise with it popping out. We saw quite a few of those with the mountains, and I was so in love. So in love. So we have lots to choose from if we want a brown ground. Or we can use that black combo I used on this card. So Deb votes light. Thank you, Xana. So I got a vote for darks and a vote for lights. I like both. I think either one works. So let's see. That's dark, dark, dark. Any other votes? And then we got to get started on the ground. Oh, my bad, Deb. So you think the light Night of Navy and then the darks of the other two. Okay, so we'll swatch it real quick just so we can see. That's light. And then dark and dark. So that would be that combo at the bottom. So that's light Night of Navy, and then the rest are darks. And then we got to vote on the ground. So do you like the browns? We could use, this is copper clay. These two right here, or actually this one is copper clay. We have so many browns we can choose from. Or do you want to do the combo I used on this card? And I suppose you could do a little bit of blue if you wanted some blue down there. Any thoughts on this color scheme so I can start coloring? Any thoughts? I'm going to color in my sun while we're deciding. I'm going to do the daffodil. Now, on my other cards, on my sun, I actually put some pumpkin pie, light pumpkin pie on first for my sun, just to give it a little bit different hue. And it's okay if it's not perfect. Actually, if we put the light on and we don't like it, we can go over it with the dark. It's just really hard to lighten the dark. I mean, you can go over it with the light color. So don't feel afraid to just try it. And I'm going to alternate these two. So, okay, so we got to decide on the browns for the bottom. We have that copper clay, which is really pretty. My yellow markers are almost to the end of their life here. That's okay, it'll work. And I'm not really blending, so you could blend. You could outline this in the dark and then blend the middle so that it's lighter and it has some variation, like stained glass. It's stained glass is not perfect. It has lots of variations. That I might have meant for that to be a mountain. I think I got it. So don't be afraid to change it up and try something different. I normally use the brush tip when I'm coloring these. I want the color to go on thick and really vibrant, but my yellows are dying, so the brush tips they've seen better days. Oops. So I'm just using the bullet tip, and it takes a little longer on the yellow. My Blackberry Bliss may be the same. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. If there's a little bit of white showing, it's okay. And you could put all kinds of lines in this and make it look like much smaller pieces and really make the colors look a little different. You could do all different. You could do 4 yellows and make lines everywhere, but I kind of tried to keep it kind of simple. Okay, so we're going to go with this color scheme, and I'm going to color these front ones, the light Night of Navy. Now I am going in here around my tires, like you can see it through. This marker's also seen better days. You can tell the ones I use a lot. Okay, that one's dark, that one's dark. This one's light. I have to change. Thank you for the love. So I am going behind the bike. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be everywhere. But some of it would kind of show through. So I'm not worried about if I get all of this white space on the bike, but I do want some of it. Okay. think I meant for that one to be purple, but we're going with it. I might have to get out a new marker. Let's see. Let's grab a fresh one. All right, there we go. That's a much more vibrant mountain there. Okay, there we go. That looks better. You notice I'm scribbling. I'm not worried about my coloring being perfect. I do want to stay in the lines a little bit, but I'm not worried about it being perfect. That's the beauty of the blends. They're going to dry and look amazing. Oh, no worries, Linda. I hope you feel better. Okay. So this one, and again, this is Dark Blackberry Bliss. I may have to see if I have a new one of these as well. But we'll push it. We're going to go as far as we can with this. And if you wanted a little more variation, in your colors, you could have chose 4 colors. For your mountains. You just want to kind of go light to, or I'm sorry, dark for the front, and then light. Yes, Tracy, thanks you for saying that. I meant to mention that. Yes, Ohio does have a tax-free holiday weekend, and I am going to post about that later. I don't know exactly all the weekends. I know Ohio's is in August. And each state has a tax-free weekend for like a back to school, and you can stock up on things. Now, I don't know if it's tax-free. I guess I'm a little fuzzy on the exact details because sometimes it's up to a certain dollar amount. So, our blends, our adhesives, some things are tax-free, and I will post that. There's like a PDF that has the items that are tax-free and which states participate. So yes, that's a great time to stock up on things that will be tax-free. It helps you save a little bit of money. Okay, so I'm trying to remember exactly which ones I wanted to be light. We can always change it, but this is going to be the dark fresh freesia. And I'm just trying to remember if I wanted this one to be light or dark. We're going to color it light, and I may want to change it. May change it. Just go for it. What do you think? I feel like I need a little dark peak over here. And that's how you change it on the fly. I just felt like it looked like I needed a dark purple mountain over there. So add one in. Easy as that. Okay. Do you think I should color this blue where I've left that white? Now I'm going to color these two right here. Color this one blue while we're deciding on that bike area. It has more white space than this bike. And the beauty of the blends is they dry really smooth, so you don't have to be perfect. I will say, if you color with the Stampin' Write markers, they're different. Your line strokes do show. So this dark Blackberry Bliss is usually a little darker too, but you can see my marker is running out. So it looks a little lighter than it probably does on my color chart. You can see there's a little bit of a difference because my marker is running out. That's okay. I'm just going to keep filling it in here. So there's the inside part. Now we just have to color the ground. Let's see. I don't see any comments. I could be a little slow, but I'm just going to color it in. Some of it anyways. It looks too white, too much for me. There we go. Okay, so now we have to do our ground. And like I said, we have a ton of browns to choose from. So if we want it kind of an earthy, you could use that copper clay. It's kind of an orangish brown. Let's pull out our chart. What do we want? So copper clay, kind of, to me, it's like a browner Cajun craze. That's how I would describe copper clay. We also have We do have Pebbled Path, but it's kind of a gray brown, or a brown gray, brownish gray. And then we have these. We do have Pecan Pie, which is a lighter brown. We have Crumb Cake. So what do you think would go best with our blues? Thank you, Joan. Yes, I think grays would work too. So if you want to go with a gray tone, we can use Smoky Slate. We could use light and dark Smoky Slate, or even the light basic black would work. So here's Smoky Slate. Gray Granite would go well for a light colored ground. So what do you think? There are lots of things to choose from. We have this whole new Natural Tones line that would work really well. We have lots of beautiful browns. Joan votes grays. All right. We can do grays. Let's see. I have dark Smoky Slate. Grab the white. So we have this here. And that would be our ground color. So we're going to do the inside and the front. Since I traced around and stamped with black, I tend to choose the gray. So for this one, I chose browns because I stamped and used the brown. So that's kind of my thinking. Look, I didn't put anything under this is why we have grid paper, right? I have a mess everywhere. Okay, let's just go with it. Let's go with it. So I'm going to start off with some dark Smoky Slate, and I'm just going to alternate those. Again, if you wanted maybe more of it broken up, I'll show you on my beachy card, the scene with the birds. You can make more lines, and even if adjacent ones are the same color, it's really nice to just kind of break it up. So if you want to do that, you certainly can. I didn't put any blue. So our bike is not next to a river. Sorry, I forgot all about that. I'm just coloring away. But certainly, if you're copying this, change it up and make it however you like. I do like the blues toward the bottom, but you could even use some greens if you wanted it to be like a road and then a grassy section. However you want your scene to show. And on this one, I'm just going to put a couple in here to match my front. Again, I'm using the brush tip, and it does lay down a lot more ink. It's going to spread. So just, I'm just swiping it back and forth. And I just like using the tip when I'm coloring that tip when I'm coloring a bigger space, because it lays the ink on a little faster. So what do you think? So that's our front and our inside. Okay, it's almost 10:30. And like I said, I don't have a ton of embossing powder left. Let me move this stuff real quick. But I can emboss it if you would like to see the process. You can do, some of them I do 2 layers, some I do 3. It really depends on what you like. And you want to do, I don't emboss on the inside. I usually use Wink of Stella or just leave it plain. This would be on the gray. See, I had a little white down there. That's okay. I think you could even put this on Night of Navy if you wanted. Wow, that really pops. So thank you, Linda and Deb. So we could emboss this. It's up to you. I kind of like it not embossed, but I'm going to let you guys vote real quick because it does take a couple minutes to emboss if you do that. So yes or no? Emboss, and embossing just makes it glossy like this, and you can also leave it unembossed, just plain how you colored it, like that. I kind of like it not embossed. Sometimes I just I like that finish. I just feel like I like it a little bit better that way. So yeah, you can use Wink of Stella. Thanks, Linda, for saying that. In my original tutorial, I did show how I used Wink of Stella on the inside to make it glittery. So you could use Wink of Stella, certainly. Yes, Deb, I did. The original how to emboss it was on that YouTube video that I posted a couple weekends ago. So, to finish it off, we just have to decide, do we want basic gray? And the grays down here do kind of blend in, and it just kind of gives all of this, makes it all more of a focal point. Or do we want Night of Navy? I just feel like this is like, it just looks like artwork. I mean, it is artwork. We drew it, right? And I really like the feel of these cards. So while I think everybody likes the navy, just to recap, I hand drew in the background. Have fun making your card layers. I used Legendary Ride for the bike and the greeting on the inside. We used Dark Blackberry Bliss, Dark Fresh Freesia, Light Night of Navy, Dark and Light Smoky Slate, Dark and Light Daffodil Delight, and the basic black Stampin' Write marker. You can buy this marker on its own. I don't have the new version. I highly recommend them. I've checked out some of the new markers. I really like those better than the older design. So you can pick up this. I believe this is in the tax-free sale as well. Or not sale, tax-free weekend. It just means that you're not going to pay tax. And if you're buying markers and things like that, that can add up. What else did I use? I used Memento Tuxedo Black ink for my stamping. So, and then I have Night of Navy for my base. Now I'm just going to glue it on. I will say, if you clear emboss this, make sure you use very strong adhesive to hold it on to the front of your card. It's going to be like a piece of plastic because you emboss the whole thing. And I do like that look. It just kind of depends. Sometimes that look works for the card and how you want it to feel, the finished product, and sometimes it doesn't. So, with glue here. I'm just gluing it flat. If you don't emboss it, you could use dimensionals and pop it up. completely up to you. You could even die cut this if you have like the deckled rectangles. After you're all done with your design, you could die cut it and make it have a little more texture. I might have to try that now that I said that. So, oh my gosh, it's almost the end of July. We have a few more days left. And I want to remind you guys, every $50 you spend with Stampin' Up! Until July 31st, you earn a $5 bonus day coupon to spend in August. And also for us in Ohio, August is the tax-free weekend. So those $5 coupons are going to be well spent. Plus, if you're a demonstrator, we get to pre-order out of the new mini. So those are some things to look forward to. I don't want you to miss out on the bonus coupons, though. If you need supplies and you're stocking up, that might be something that is interests you to save a little bit in August if you're planning on shopping again. Also in August, we have a kit sale, not the paper pumpkin kits, just our kit collection kits, which I love. So they're 30% off. FYI, if you're a demonstrator, you get your discount on top of that 30%. So if you haven't grabbed the starter kit to start saving money, now might be a great time, or even in August, you could grab it and take advantage of some of those discounts we have. So there we have it. There's our masculine card. What do y'all think? I love it. Love it, love it. The colors are awesome. They're nice and vibrant. Again, if you had wanted a blue, I could take the Night of Navy and put some blue in here if I wanted to, even after having it glued down. That would be fine. And then there's our inside. Hand-drawn. Show your authentic self in your cards. So thank you for the love. Don't forget to give lots of hearts on my video and share with your friends. If you're watching the replay, make sure you say hi and let us know that you watched. Here's all my guy cards, my masculine cards that I made. And I think even my original, where'd all my other cards go? I think even the turtle card could be a guy card. And then I have this one. So this is what I referenced earlier. I used gray granite and crumb cake to color in this sand area. And I just really broke it up with curved lines and all different things. So this could be a guy card too. And I embossed this one 3 times. Up close, you can really see all the imperfections that make it kind of look like a glass. And this one, I just stamped real simple on the inside. You don't have to draw on the inside, but there they are. I am so happy to share this with you. I really had a lot of fun. If you have any questions about this technique, you need help on deciding what to use, I would love to help you. I love seeing you succeed in card making. If you need any Stampin' Up! Supplies, feel free to jump on over to bethroy.stampinup.net and click on the Shop Now button. If you decide to jump in and grab that starter kit, you can also click Join there and grab the starter kit so that you can start getting a discount on top of all those other things. So lots of benefits there. You know, if you have questions, you can reach out to me. Thank you so much, Linda. I really love this card style. Like I said, sometimes you forget about old techniques and things you used to do or used to love. And I just happened upon a card in my stash that really reminded me of this technique. And I wanted you guys to experience it. I love it. I'm going to be making even more cards with it. Especially now that we have this idea. I just have so many ideas in my head right now. I just want to make all the cards. So I hope you guys enjoyed this today. Please invite your friends to hang out with us. and have a great rest of your weekend. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.